Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Wednesday, November 20th, the day after the Celtics' big win over the Cleveland Cavaliers, a couple days before their game against the Wizards, in between action with the White House visit planted firmly in the middle. How you doing, Sam?
I'm good. Man, do the Celtics not care about the White House? They do not care about the White House. Joe Mazzulla didn't care about it. People tried. Not only did someone trying to ask them about it yesterday, Tatum and Derek White after the game, but then Kari asked them after they were already asked, and they were like, "Dude, we do not care." Pretty much.
Yeah.
Poor guy's just trying to do his story. But we have a lot of fun stuff today. We'll talk a little bit more about how the Celtics have quite the switch that they can flip. We'll go through, look at some defensive stuff, a little bit of a Tillman update. Shout out to Bobby Manning for that. Then we'll go through the email, look around the NBA, some very sad things going on with some of the other teams that some of you might not like. And we'll do the rat list. So make sure you stick around. It's going to be a fun show. Jack and I are here every single day. So hit the bell. You don't want to miss any of our drops. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, game recaps the morning after each game. And other videos are up in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics.
Yes, sir. Let's just jump right in. We're talking about the Celtics. So this was one of those days where Sam and I jumped on here and what are we talking about? Because ironically, even though they just picked up what was very obviously the biggest win of the season, we kind of talked about all of that in the game recap that we did, which go look it up on the channel. Make sure to check it out. So we're going to talk about what the Celtics look like when they try a little bit, which sounds weird. Sounds like, well, they always try. And I do think there's a level two, they always try, right? It is a very much a difference between the effort they are putting in and the way they're executing their effort, if that makes sense. Because not a game goes by where the Celtics don't try. There is just trying versus executing to the fullest extent, if that makes sense, right? Like the Celtics are never playing with no effort. Well, I don't say never, but 99% of the time.
We both were there for the Hawks game last week. Come on.
99% of the time, they're playing with effort. It's just maybe they feel like they don't have to execute it 100% because they can just beat this team. Or maybe they can get away with a few possessions here or there where they're like, all right, let's try an ISO. Let's try a mismatch hunt. We can get a break, give someone a breather, blah, blah, blah. They didn't do that against the Cavs. There was not a second in the game, maybe for a few possessions in the third quarter. But by and large, it was, we are going to attack every mismatch we can find. We're going to drive and kick for the perfect threes. We are going to lock in individually on defense. Joe Mazzulla talked before the game. He's really taking pride in individual defense is something we've been working on, want to improve on. They did that. There was a possession against Darius Garland. I don't even know if I could find it because I don't think they got a shot out of it, where Jason Tatum just locked him up for the whole possession, and then I think they turned it over, so maybe I can find it. Tatum was driving before he was shooting. Derek White looked amazing. He didn't miss from the mid-range on those little floaters. Peyton Pritchard was playing perfectly off the ball. Jaylen Brown was a little sloppy with the ball in his hands, but even he came up big in the fourth quarter when the Celtics needed him. Everything was just perfect, and I think it gave a glimpse into who the Celtics are, what they are when they are at their best. And that's a scary thing for the rest of the league, because the Celtics at their best shoot 50+% from three. and I know that's not going to be an every night thing. I know you can't depend on that level of shooting, but I think the fact that they took their fewest number of threes just showed that they were trying extra hard to get the best possible threes. So they were comfortable not shooting as many or throwing up as many as they usually do.
It's a good point. I think we kind of talked a little bit about it in the recap, where we kind of joked that they just play offense as a sieve and completely sift until they can.
You like Civ. You like Civ now. Yeah. You've thrown it in a couple times.
That's how you guys know that I pay attention on these shows. Otherwise, you would think I never listen. But no, they really work until they have all the gems, all the shots that you want to see them get. It's not just, one pass and three. It used to be like that. That used to be a thing back in the day. It was just they don't work hard enough to get the best shots. They just settle for threes. Now there's so much drive and kick and make the defense rotate. And just the amount of pressure they put on opposing teams when they want to just feels a little bit unfair at times. There were stretches in this Cleveland game where, the first half the Celtics shot 14 of 22 from three, but we can't pretend that they were taking fall away, hand in the face threes. No. Guys like Drew Holiday are getting multiple open looks. Horford, multiple open looks off the catch. These shots should go in. These are the shots that they take when they are just warming up, practicing. It's not something that's out of the ordinary for them. Yes, it's a three. Yes, it's farther away than a drive. But if it's wide open, it's a great shot, and we can't pretend that it's complete luck if it's going in. There is something to it, like you said, Jack, that like they are putting their head down. They're like, okay, we are not going to take bad shots, and the extra pass will happen. We see so many motions where the guy on the wing gets the ball, and then he makes a read whether or not the corner defender is going to come out and leave the guy in the corner, or if he's going to have the open look himself as the guy with the ball. I just really liked what we saw from the Celtics yesterday. I think it really was something that is almost like a trend from the Bucks game. The Bucks game was my favorite game of the season so far, including yesterday. I just thought it was such an impressive turnaround that they had. But if you want to talk about flipping the switch, then look no further. Like, they played a tale of two halves. The second half, they were so locked in on defense. Milwaukee couldn't do anything for them. They were being intentional with their targeting, going after Lillard. And we saw a little bit of targeting yesterday, but nothing crazy. It didn't always work. They tried to go at Jared Allen early, and that did work. And then when it was Mobley, it didn't work as much. Darius Garland being out there will always be a nice little, hey, look, maybe you can go after him thing for them to do with the Cavs. Man, the Celtics are good when they are just trying.
Yeah, the Celtics looked incredible. I'm trying to find... I want to see if this is the first game all season that Tatum's first two shot attempts were twos. I don't know if that's true, but it sounds like a stat that could be real. And I'm trying to figure out like the way that I could possibly look at it. Okay, I found a way I could look at it. It might take me a second.
Oh, the first one all year? Yeah, okay. I can see why that would be a little bit of a tough thing to find. So I'll tell you what, if it's true, you should do it every game.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to find that exactly because I don't know what is wrong in this. Okay, yeah, it's because I have shot to tie or take the lead on. So now I should be able to see every single shot he's taken. And I can tell you. So Knicks game, he opened up with
one of them. No, the first one was a three.
It's not giving me every single pitch. Anyways, the point is, and we can like roll some of the clips of like Tatum shot selection stuff like that to like prove the point, but Tatum was very, very intentional with the way he played. And this is not to say like, oh my gosh, Tatum is so bad. Why doesn't he do this every game? Right. Cause like every game provides something different. I genuinely do believe the overall Celtics theory of the more threes you get up, the more like you are to win the game. And I don't even think that's arguable at this point. I think it's just a fact. Like the Celtics by and large take the most threes, and yes, they are good at them, but because they take so many more than everybody around the league, they are just mathematically more likely to win the game because of how many they get up. So this was Tatum's shot profile to start the game. These are the first shots he took. He didn't take his first shot until the 9:17 mark, which is a little bit unusual in general, but first one is him getting out in transition, a little bit wild, doesn't go down. But then a few possessions later, gets down the court, gets Jared Allen on him. Last year, boom, this would be a step back three. Now, Jared Allen, to his credit, does a good job of like staying with him and like taking that away. But I think that is also a product of like they know that shot could be there. And so you have to take it away, which I think speaks to like as much as we don't like to see them, like that is
kind
a part of this game that
to be honest,
teams look out for.
Take that.
Today's not the day, brother. He started the game 4 from 3. So he couldn't miss from 3 yesterday. Of all the days he could pick to pick.
No, he was hot yesterday. Great 3-point shooting game.
He gets to the rim, gets inside, and one to start the game, and then he starts to get the threes going, and then he gets a pull-up three, right? Catch and shoots. He's been so great at this year. I tweeted this out the other day. I think this type of shot right here is the biggest reason why he's shooting so much better. Last year, he was an incredible catch and shoot 3-point shooter. He shot 43%, I think, ish on like 2.2 per game. This year, he's shooting great still, 46%. Last time I checked this a few games ago on catch and shoot threes, but he's taking 3.8. He's taking almost double the number of catch and shoot threes per game, which is huge for his 3-point game. Finally gets in that rhythm, gets that to go. And then he starts driving again. Obviously, he misses that one. Evan Mobley did a really, really good job against Jason Tatum. Gets Ty Jerome on him, sees a smaller defender, gets it right to the rack. Learns from his past mistake on Evan Mobley, gets that to go. And then Tatum and Jaylen Brown in particular combined for 15 assists in this game. The turnovers were a little bit high, but man, those two were just so relentlessly intentional with the way that they wanted to play offense in this game. The drive and kick game was incredible. They were creating amazing threes. Like, look at this. Jaylen Brown creates so much pressure on the rim that Evan Mobley is sagging off of Jason Tatum. Donovan Mitchell is helping over from the corner because they're attacking Darius Garland, which is something else they did amazing. Sam Merrill has to help because the corner three's open. Derek White then gets the ball, draws Sam Merrill back over. Donovan Mitchell doesn't get back out, and they get just the most wide open corner three you can possibly make. And this is a minute and a half into the game.
It's also the best corner 3-point shooter last season.
Yes. Yes. Like, just the way they attacked the Cavs was so deliberate. And I asked Joe and Jason and Derek about this all game. And even this, like, I don't know if you noticed this in real time. Al Horford passed up a couple of could have shot at threes to start the game. Like, he got a couple of threes that were a little bit contested. Like Mobley was closing out on one, and I forget who was closing out on the other. But instead of shooting it, he like pump faked and then he drove. And that's fine, right? You're allowed to pump fake and drive. But after he passed up on a couple threes he could have taken, he finally gets this one. He's like, all right, I'm here. I'm ready to fly. And then he drains it. Like, they were so deliberate about creating the looks that they know they can get. And they do this every game. Again, I don't want this to turn into like, oh my gosh, the Celtics don't try half the time. Look what they can do when they do try. But like, you can see the difference when they like of going the extra mile, because they don't always go the extra mile. Sometimes they get great shots. They get great shots every game, but it felt like in this game they were looking for perfect shots time and time again because they know how good the Cavs are.
Yeah, the pressure they put on, I wrote about after the game, and that was the main thing that the players and Joe Mazzulla talked about after the game was get into the rim, driving kick reads. That's what won them the game. And we just saw so many examples of that where, I mean, Jaylen Brown had 8 assists in this game. How often is it that he does put up an assist number like that? It's almost never. And that's usually probably because he's just more aggressive going to the rim.
This was such a good play. Like, just the way they knew the weak points of the defense. Like Darius Garland and Sam Merrill. For what it's worth, I think Sam Merrill did a pretty okay job of standing up to the Celtics on Tuesday night. Like he did a good enough job where you're like, okay, like I know he's not an amazing defender, but he is at least putting in a good amount of effort. He is being physical. He is trying to play above his size. And so I credit Sam Merrill for that. But they knew that he was a relative weak point in this Cavs defense. They saw it, they attacked it, and they trusted that the Cavs would overreact to it. Like, look at Sam Merrill. He is standing up pretty well. He's being physical, but Jared Allen has to help over, right? Which means Evan Mobley has to help over, which means even though Evan Mobley does a phenomenal job of getting back out, Al Horford is still there, still ready to knock it down. Like, they were just pinpointing the best possible weak points they could make. They were cutting off the ball because the focus was elsewhere. Like, the deliberacy with which the Celtics played on Tuesday night was incredible to watch. So I was very impressed with the way they did that. And then, I mean, we can try to find some defensive clips too, but they just did an amazing job of like turning it up in the right spots. Like, it's a scary thing for the rest of the league to consider how methodical this Celtics team can be, because it's weird. They don't necessarily have to be that methodical. They are talented enough to where they could just say, you know, let's drive once and get a kick. Let's let Jason Tatum attack a mismatch and then kick it out. And they did that in this game, but they did it in a way where they were pre-switching lineups to get Tatum on very specific matchups to make the Cavs defense react in a very certain way, to where they don't always play that deliberate against other teams, because they know they can get good shots, not necessarily going the extra mile, but they wanted this one. So they showed it. And I think that's a very, very scary thing for the league to watch and for teams to have to deal with, because they know if the Celtics really want it, they can turn it up and just go that extra inch, that extra centimeter, that extra little bit to go from a great shot to a perfect shot. And then we can talk about the defense too, but I was so impressed with the offense last night. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Pick also now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Sam and I use Prize Picks on the pregame show every single time. We love picking more on turnovers for opposing players. We love picking more on Jason Tatum points, on Drew Holiday threes, on Al Horford threes. It's our favorite time of the show. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Yeah, it's about them picking their spots. That's really what it is. Boston has been great at that all through last year. It's one of the reasons they were the most efficient offense, or whatever the fucking offensive rating says. The made up
NBA history.
stat.
Forever.
Yeah.
Hey, ever, Sam.
Oh, greatest offense ever. Every fucking year, dude. Every year. It was like the Jazz 3 years ago. Like, all right. But anyways, the quality of looks that they create is the important thing. Your shooters are going to shoot far better than they would on another team if they're playing with the Celtics, because they're getting clean looks. That's why Drew Holiday was and continues to be one of the best open corner three-point shooters in the NBA. It's because he's seeing nobody but the basket when he's getting these looks. You saw looks like that throughout the game. Of course they're going to go in. Cavs fans were on the internet crying today because the Celtics shot so efficiently from three. And, like, I get it. I hate when teams light the Celtics up and it's like, this is fake. But it's not really fake with the Celtics, because the reason why those shots are going in is because they're open. It's not like they don't have to miss a certain percentage of shots just because they have to. It's like, no, you have to make them miss. And when you're getting spun around and having to rotate and play 2-on-1 on the perimeter because somebody had to help on a drive, yeah, the percentages are going to skew in the favor of the Celtics because the shots are open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, it all went like both ways too, right? Like the offense was great, and I was very, very, very impressed with the way they methodically broke down the Cavs. But this Cavs team is like the best offense in basketball, or one of them this season, right? Like they are amazing on that end. Celtics held them to 20 points in the first quarter, so I'm just going to pull up the way they played defense and then the way they decided to go about things. Like the first shot of the game, or the first, it was the first shot of the game, was Donovan Mitchell scoring. They were playing a little bit of drop defense. And when this happened, I was like, I don't love the drop defense. I don't love the way they're playing that. I wonder how that trend's going to continue. But as soon as the rest of the first quarter got rolling, the Celtics locked in, right? There were turnovers, there were missed shots. This was the Cavs, I think, second possession of the game. It was Darius Garland, who the Celtics had in a torture chamber in this game against the drop defense, and Jared Allen, a non-shooter, they put Jason Tatum on. And so they had Al Horford guarding Evan Mobley for most of the game. And because of that, all Drew had to do was trail and cut off this pass, and Tatum could help over. And he was there, and he got the block because Jared Allen's not a shooter, so there wasn't the risk of that pass. And so the Celtics got a turnover. And then as the period went on, Evan Mobley got a jump shot, and that was the offense they were living with. And that's an open enough three, and so you live with that. You're happy with that if you're the Cavs, but the Celtics played the math, and they're like, all right. And then they got another contest on Jared Allen, which is also going to be in this clip because that's how it works. Darius Garland, mid-range. Darius Garland was really bad. That is also a part of that. Like,
kind of sees
Darius
Garland
Garland
plays the Celtics.
Yeah, Darius
Bad
Garland was really bad.
too.
Yeah, I also realized I wasn't showing this tab when I showed you this clip, but they played great defense on that.
Wow.
Jaylen Brown, great contest on Jared Allen. Yeah, sorry, I was trying to flip back and forth because I want to show the turnovers and the possessions. Fast forward a little bit even more. They get that done. That's the same play. Darius Garland again, midi. Again, he struggles against Celtics. That doesn't fall. Celtics don't get the rebound, but they fight again. I will say, as much as we've seen two early offensive rebounds, I thought the Celtics also did a really good job of attacking the glass, because that's an area where the Cavs could otherwise kill them because they are a good rebounding team. But I thought Jason Tatum in particular was like
set the tone right away.
Yeah.
It was a big leadership moment from Tatum yesterday because the game was massive. The spot was big. The attention was there. People were talking about this game in the days leading up to it. Tatum was getting ridiculed for traveling on a stupid buzzer beater. That was the take, is that he traveled. And what does he do? How does he respond? He comes out and fucking dominates this game from the jump. I know this is a section about defense, but
Mhm.
Tatum being the tone setter on this team is incredibly
Mhm.
massive, because we hear a ton about Tatum not being vocal or screaming or acting like KG, but this game in particular, and you can look back at the Knicks game too to start the season, are great examples of his leadership. He just kind of
Mhm.
lets his game talk. He goes out there and plays hard. The game got physical as the night went on, and he just kind of rose up to it. He had 16 second half points, I think. He had the big shot,
Yeah.
or not over Niang, but while Niang was trying to guard him. And like, that was a response to Cleveland trying to bump him. Like, Niang was being a pest. He did a pretty good job
Mhm.
yesterday in terms of doing what he was being asked to do. Like, he was out there to be an annoyance, and he got Tatum frustrated. At the end of the game, you saw a lot of complaining from everybody, but like, Niang's
Mhm.
physicality caused the referees to have to make decisions,
Mhm.
and Tatum did a great job in responding. So, to tie it all together, him helping them close out their hard defensive possessions makes the rest of these guys want to fucking work, because they know their guy, the face of the team, is there to do part of the dirty work, to go and hit the glass against two massive players in Allen and Mobley, both right around 7 feet if they're not over 7 feet. Like, Cleveland has probably
11.
the only set of like double bigs in the NBA consistently.
Probably one of, if not only. I'm trying to
I know the
think.
Celtics will
I
run
can't
it,
think
but
through.
like,
Um,
two legitimate like star level big men that they
I'm
play
trying to
together.
think. Yeah, I don't. I can't think of off the top of my head any others. There probably are, but I just can't think of them.
And when you're
They
like
run it though.
asking the Celtics to put together defensive possessions
Milwaukee,
as an entire team, yeah, fair, very
kinda.
fair. No, fair. But like you pointed it out, everybody had a role on that pick and roll with Mitchell and Mobley. And because Tatum is willing to be the guy that ends the possession, to get the block, and then later to get rebounds, those other guys feel like, yeah, we're all in it together. It's not we play defense so Tatum can save his energy to go get buckets on the other end, which, believe it or not, other
Mhm.
teams probably do. A team like
Yeah,
Philly, you don't think they're like using every loophole to try and keep Embiid energized throughout the game? They absolutely
yeah,
are.
yeah. And I mean, Embiid's a good defender. Like when he is healthy and when he is locked in on defense, he is a great defender. It is just he doesn't have the stamina or the body to be able to do that. And I mean, even look at this play. Like the Celtics get beat on this play, right? Darius Garland inbounds it to Jared Allen. Jason Tatum was guarding Jared Allen all night, like we talked about for most of the night. They run a pick and roll. Tatum gets beat because he jumps at the pump fake, but then despite getting sealed, Jaylen Brown gets in front in time to contest. Jaylen Brown gets there to help too, and then they track down the rebound because Tatum was simultaneously boxing him out and contesting the shot. Then he gets switched on to Donovan Mitchell. They switch it perfectly. Al Horford steps up, gets a great contest on Donovan Mitchell, hits the glass again. Like everything the Celtics were doing was crisp. They get beat on this play, I remember, because it was a 4-on-5, and Jaylen Brown was not on the floor or didn't get up the floor quick enough because he was just behind the play. But like, it was so impressive to watch this Celtics team play defense in this game. Like, here's another turnover of Jason Tatum just hustling back and surprising Evan Mobley. Here's another turnover of them. This was the play. This was the play I keep referencing where I was like, oh, okay, yeah, they want this one. Watch Jason Tatum play defense on Darius Garland in this play. Look at this. Look at this. He has him in hell. Like, he just couldn't go anywhere the whole time. And then Mobley steps out of bounds. Like, how many, like we talk about big guys all the time, like, okay, can they keep up with guards? Jason Tatum was like 6'9", and he is stride for stride with one of the quickest guards in the NBA. Like,
Right.
people don't give him enough credit for how incredible and versatile of a defender he is, because I just talked about 30 seconds ago, he's guarding Jared Allen, boxing out, getting rebounds, and switching off at the big, and then he just kept up with their quickest player. Like, man, the Celtics were just so unbelievably locked in on both ends in this game. It was
For
so impressive.
perspective
Yeah.
on the Tatum thing, Rob was 6'8", and we were all like, holy shit, this guy can guard the perimeter.
Yes, exactly.
you know? So, I mean, Tatum's versatility is a little different. He moves differently. His offensive game kind of gives him more practice having to be mobile and having to be quick and all that, where a guy like Rob Williams, who's undersized big, doesn't really have that kind of responsibility. But it still says a lot about him just being able to stick with guys and be coordinated, because not every superstar has that ability on defense. There are guys Tatum size that don't guard. Like Luka's a little smaller than Tatum, doesn't guard. Great offensive talent, one of the best ever. But like we made fun of him for the entire NBA Finals because he was just standing there. He gave up a backdoor cut for a winner against the Jazz the other day because he was not paying attention. There's levels to the engagement that certain superstars will have. And it all ties back to Tatum's commitment to this team. Even with the offensive stuff yesterday, monster game, 33, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. Yet all they talked about after the game was him making the right read. It wasn't about taking over. It was about punishing the Cavs if they overcommitted. And the Celtics have the luxury to have it just be that simple for them because they have the talented guys that are ready to catch and shoot on the perimeter. Not every team could say that. And Joe Mazzulla is getting the most out of it because he's just like, Tatum, trust everybody. These guys are awesome.
For as good as the Celtics are, knowing that there is this other level they can get to, just watch this full defensive possession. Drew Holiday, Darius Garland has to go back and pick up the ball because Drew Holiday's Drew Holiday. They switch it early. Al Horford gets on him, stays with him stride for stride. Jason Tatum knows he can help off of Jared Allen a little bit. Darius Garland fights for the rebound. Sam Hauser ends up on the ground fighting for the ball. Drew Holiday sprints from one corner to the other to contest a Darius Garland shot, goes fully in the air, and then they get the rebound. Like, I imagine having to go up against this team on defense. Like, oh my God, when they're locked in, like I said, the Celtics at 90%, 95% are a 60-win team that we saw last year. This is the other 5%. Like, and it is such a big difference.
Is this the team that went, what was it?
16-3 in the playoffs?
16-3?
Yeah. It damn well might be. Like, it is incredible. Like that 5% difference takes them from this is the best team in basketball to this is the best team we might have seen since the Warriors. Like, oh my God.
Shout out to the Celtics. Shout out to Tatum. Shout out to Al Horford for continuing to own Darius Garland, who continues to try and attack him on switches, and it just does not work for him.
Not at all. Not at all. Anyways, next thing, Bleacher Report put together a trade package.
No, not a trade package, a trade suggestion.
Trade idea, trade suggestion. There was a trade package earlier this week that was very similar to, like, basically bar for bar. Their trade suggestion is basically trade Jaden Springer for something more valuable. The trade suggestion I saw earlier in the week from Bleacher Report was Jaden Springer a second for Amir Coffey on the Clippers, which I was watching like King of the Fourth Quarter react to the article. And he's like, why the hell would the Clippers do this? Amir Coffey's like shooting really well this season. This doesn't feel like something they should want to do. But trading Jaden Springer for something more valuable all season
hurts my feelings. I think unless Springer is a legitimate problem within the team, what is it that, I mean, I'll even ask you this, Jack. What is it that you're looking to get back for him if you move him?
I was just about to look on Fanspo because, like, what does Springer make? Springer makes $4 million.
$4 million.
So whoever you trade for would have to make less than $4 million. I don't know. I don't know what that is.
And Dan Favale makes a great point in this excerpt where he says pretty much the Celtics could re-up Springer and then just have the same dilemma, but he's making more money.
Yeah. Excuse me. I wouldn't hate that idea. Amir Coffey is there. He's fine. I don't know why they would do that. I'm like looking around the league. Maybe you trade for Svi back. If you want Svi on a longer
or is he on a 4-year total $13 million?
4-year total. So he makes 3.5 this year, 3.65, 3.85, and then 4.02. So like you can technically trade for Svi to have the longer term contract. I actually don't hate that idea. I don't think he's playing in Utah right now. Excuse me. So if you just want a longer term deal, yeah, he's only played in 2 games. So honestly, if you want to like bring Svi back because you liked him or whatever, like that could be a thing because then you'd at least have the longer term salary. Or you could just extend Springer for probably a minimum at this point, which might be more apt. But this is a bigger salary you could have in a trade.
Springer minimum seems like a win for everybody.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's just so low risk.
Yes, but would you also rather just spend that minimum contract on a draft pick or on, another player in free agency next year? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, would you rather go year to year with minimums than get him
free
on a
agency? I don't
deal
think it's going to make a difference. I don't think you're going to find somebody better on a minimum than Springer in free agency. Sounds like it might be a crazy take, but seriously, like what
I,
guy,
I,
unless they're blatantly ring chasing, and I can't even think of anybody off the top of my head that will be doing that. Like, who are you going to get on a minimum? There's a reason
I,
these guys are minimum guys.
I know, but like just another get a vet or get somebody you'd rather take a look at. Like if you think you've gotten all you can at a developmental track of Springer, or like I'm looking at the free agencies and I'm looking like and I'm not saying like it is a bad idea to bring Springer back, right? Like, that's not the argument I'm trying to make, but like if I'm just like looking around here. Let's say Davion Mitchell, like the Raptors don't end up wanting him. If you want to take a chance on a different guard of the similar stature, like maybe he'll be on a minimum. If you'd rather a wing and Chris Duarte wants to come on board, I'm literally just looking at like the free agent list here. This is random. If Seth Curry wants a minute, you know what I'm saying? Like there are names you could say like if we'd rather this extra shooter, we'd rather take a chance on this young player. We'd rather spend a second round pick and bring in somebody from college we think could develop better. Like I'm not saying bringing back Springer is a bad idea, but there are other options you can look at and say, hey, I don't hate that. Like Dante Exum will be a free agent. He'll probably get a little bit more money, but he's coming off an injury, so you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like there
It'd
are
be big for the first of floor
options.
fellas. That'd be
It's
massive.
true. It's true.
I'd be in for that actually.
We'll see.
He'll
Trendon
be more than a
Watford
minimum.
is another name. So there's just different options I think they could potentially look at.
The problem with the Springer situation now is Pritchard is so far like separated himself. Not to say like there was a massive question about that coming into the season, but Pritchard's contract, $8 million a season for 4 years, is a valuable one. If they really felt like it would have been worth trading him, you could see them buying into Springer and being like, well, maybe this guy can just be a cheaper alternative and they can get something they really need for Pritchard. No, Pritchard is one of the best bench guys in the NBA. He's fit seamlessly into the Celtics team this year after a year of having real minutes after sitting in favor of Brogdon the year before. Literally played like no minutes in 2023. Comes out last year, makes big shots, big moments. Now he's just got all the confidence in the world. He's become a fan favorite. He's somebody that like he checks into the game and there's a little bit of like extra like buzz around the arena because they're like, what exciting thing is this guy going to do? What crazy heave is he going to make today? I don't think that's like worth nothing. Like that's worth something. Getting a crowd going is such an underrated thing that not every player has. And as much as I am a massive Springer fan, there's just no realistic pathway for him to edge out Pritchard at this point. Pritchard has cemented himself as a core piece of this team. Doesn't mean that Springer could not find a niche in a different way. Maybe, but
it's tough. It's just harder.
His intensity on defense almost allows for the same kind of excitement. It's just we just don't get to see that. There are going to become times this season, I think, where we get a little bit of a look at him, I hope, and I hope he brings it.
I don't know. I'm interested to see.
He's working hard. Every game he's out there.
We'll see.
Me acting like every player in the NBA doesn't do what we see them doing before the game.
Yeah.
He's out there every day. Yeah. How is he not getting minutes?
We'll see how it turns out. Basketball season is back, and I could not be more excited. Getting to watch my favorite team live in person is my favorite time of the year, and I get all of my tickets on Game Time. Game Time is the perfect app to use for all of your ticketing needs. It filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. It brings the best prices, the best deals for you to go watch live basketball right to the front. But it's more than basketball season. The Patriots are back, and the Chargers are coming to town very, very soon, and it looks like you can get a great deal to that game. Justin Herbert going to come to Gillette Stadium to hopefully play Drake May. He did get the start recently, so that should be a very, very fun quarterback matchup as well. My favorite part of the app is the fact that you can filter out the fees, you can look at the best deals, and it highlights what it believes are going to be the best deals for you to get the exact type of ticket you want. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, everything you want. I saw Noah Khan over the summer. I use Game Time to get my tickets. All-in pricing is another part that I absolutely love about the app. Toggling the feature shows the exact total upfront. Like I said, filters out the fees, tells you what you're paying with everything included. It is perfect. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Next thing, something on Twitter put together. Neemias Queta.
It's from a Substack.
targeted
try
more.
and
It's
find the exact guy's name as you read
called the
this, just so I'm
F5
not
stuff
forgetting.
Substack.
Owen Phillips is the one that posted this online, I
Yes.
believe.
Owen Phillips
Shout
has
out.
the F5
Respect.
Substack, which puts out different stats,
Metrics.
different certain like charts. I will say very visually appealing stats. Like he puts it together in a way where you're like, okay, I understand what's going on. I can see this. I'll share it for the audio, or excuse me, the YouTube watchers, but I'll describe it. So this chart is the centers that defend guards the most / least often of the top 40 or something. These are all of minimum 150 minutes played. And Neemias Queta has to guard guards more than any center in the NBA in terms of percentage of the minutes he plays. So also context is Al Horford is 4th on the list. Luke Cornett is 6th on the list. But Neemias Queta has to guard guards 34.2% of his minutes played. Alperen Sengun is 2nd at 29.7. I think the reason for this, in my opinion, is one, the Celtics play a defense that requires these guys to guard guards. Like they switch a lot. That is part of the defense they play. It's why Queta
there's
is
3 in the
1,
top 6.
Horford is 4, Luke Cornett is 6. Yes. However, there is also the element teams target Neemias Queta. It is just that simple. They do, because he is not the best on the perimeter. We saw that against the Cavs. And so I don't necessarily think this is a problem, because you heard Joe talk about it last night when he was asked about it. He said, we trust him, right? I don't think it was as bad as people thought it was. I think it was just the volume with which the Cavs are doing it. Donovan Mitchell only had 4 points in the third, blah, blah, blah. But it is a mix of that's the defense they play, and teams just objectively target Queta.
I am curious to why, and I think I know what the answer is, but I'm curious to why Cornette is significantly less than Nemi. Because when you think of those two players, you think of a very similar perimeter defensive ability. My answer hypothesis is that Joe Mazzulla is just like, we're not going to have Cornette be exposed, and we're just going to drop it.
I think Queta is a better perimeter defender than Cornette because he is significantly more mobile. Now, I think the difference is Neemias Queta is more mobile and capable of keeping up with them. He just is not good at the positioning part. Like he is not good at, I'm going to put myself in this position, so if they go here, I can go here. He gets turned around a lot. He gets blown by a lot. But he has the athleticism and the quickness and the mobility that he could do it. He's just not very good at it yet. Cornette doesn't have that. Cornette is not a mobile big. He is a standstill, protect the paint big. And so I think, like example, I think Cornette is closer to Gobert mobility, and Queta is closer to Rob mobility. Now, Cornette doesn't have the smarts nor the defensive IQ to do what Rob does in the perimeter yet. However, you could see a world where he could potentially get somewhere close to there for a guy who is bigger and slower. I think what you said is true, though. It is just they don't trust Luke Cornette as much in the perimeter, and they see a world where they could trust Queta.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think there's a layer to it where they're just like, what if we make him? What if we make him do it so he gets better at it? The reps matter. And as much as like the Cleveland game felt like it mattered yesterday, like I told you beforehand, I was like, I actually care about this game. Like I'm going to be a little upset if they lose it. I found myself actually like getting a little bit of like jitters during the game. Like, oh shit, like this is exciting. So that was cool. But the Celtics were like, in a year, nobody's going to remember this. So we might as well get Nemi some reps. And the whole discussion during the game, especially people online, was like, wow, can't believe Nemi's back in the game. He's been so bad today. And he was like, his lineups yesterday were a major negative. Those stretches where Cleveland went on runs, it was like Nemi's on the floor and they're targeting him. And Cleveland's getting a lot of points in the paint because he's getting out of position. Credit to the Celtics, they adjusted to that. But I don't think in a playoff game you're going to see, like, let's just say every team on this list, every center in their team on this list are playing the playoffs. I think the percentage mismatch of Nemi will be less than it is now because Joe will just be like, no room for error. We're not going to experiment. This is not the time to experiment. We're going to keep you in drop as much as possible. But, you know, to your point, they're just like, Luke is what he is, but we think there's room for Nemi to grow. So they're going to like make him live with the discomfort.
Yeah, I think it is just as simple as that. Okay. Last thing before we get to the email is Xavier Tillman spoke with Bobby Manning of CLS Media, talked about KP at practice, talked about some other stuff as well. We can just watch the clip. It's only a minute long, so we can just watch their conversation about Tillman, who also went to practice with Maine.
I have those shoes
with
by the way.
KP. Which these ones in the top left of the screen.
Yeah.
What are they? Are they Incredibles? What are those?
Yeah.
Incredible shoes. But here's Tillman on the practice with KP.
Almost fell in my damn chair.
Me personally, being out of the mix and adaptation, it was good to really like go and play and just kind of get my flow and my rhythm.
And how did he look to you? What kind of things was he able to do out there? Did you guys go to like a full scrimmage?
Yeah, we played a full scrimmage. He looked good. He's moving good, feeling good.
Did it kind of look like the Porzingis you're used to seeing out there, or is that kind of like rust you saw it all?
I think with anybody, when you haven't played for months on end, you got to find your rhythm. But he looked good though. He looked really good. But I wouldn't come in here thinking that he's going to go and just drop 35 off the rip. He had to get settled, get comfortable again. But he looked great.
And was that something you kind of Joe gave you like a lot of credit for doing that? Was that something you kind of like volunteered to do, or like talk to him about? Like how did like that whole thing come together?
I was a hooper long before I, became an NBA player. Had an ego, so like I just want to play basketball. So if I have an opportunity to play 5-on-5, I'm gonna do that.
Appreciate it.
Talked about KP. Talked about playing a little bit.
Hooper.
He was. Sounds like KP is feeling all right though. Obviously needs to shake the rust off, but good to hear that he looks pretty good in practice.
Dude looks all right. I mean, anytime we see Porzingis just strutting around, smiling, taking three. He was taking no dip threes yesterday before the game. I don't know if he was doing a ton of that last year in game. I'm trying to think. His shot is built for the no dip three though. It's just like a launch right from here, and he always just seems to make the most momentum towards his shot from this point up. So it makes a lot of sense for him to perfect the no dip three. Just keep your eyes on that for when he comes back. If he's consistently making no dip threes, it's going to make him so much more valuable in a Horford type role. I don't think we saw. No, I could be so wrong. I'm so sorry if I am, if you're listening to this. I don't feel like we saw a ton of Porzingis only being out there to catch and shoot last year. It felt like when he was getting 3-point looks, it was because he was getting them off a pick and fade, not off like a kick out.
It was a lot of him in the action and then getting a three,
Yeah.
I think, largely.
Which is, I
We'll
guess,
see.
what you want. Like,
Yeah.
he's such a versatile scorer that you probably want the defense to have to worry more than him.
You wanna
just
leverage
standing
that.
there.
Yeah. Even Horford, I mean, Kenny Atkinson talked about it. I think Justin Turpin asked him, like, Kenny Atkinson talked about how impressive it is that Horford can get the three off at the speed he does now. Cause he was basically like, yeah, he had to like load it up back in the day and now he just fires it off. So I do think there is a talent to the, even if it's not a no quote unquote no dip three, like the speed with which you can get a shot off. So we'll see how those guys handle it. But
Shout out to Al
let's-
Horford again. Just an absolute dog.
beast. Al Horford's a beast, man. Jumping over to the email here. Reminder as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. Let's start with Mr. Philipart. Raining threes. Fellas, the Cavs game is today. I'm sure we played responsibly and won. Thought they did. But sometimes that's not the case. The Wizards game might get less respect from the guys. That thought has me emotional, so I wrote this song about it. This time I made it country music, and it's 3 minutes. FYI, how do I make these? I used to make EDM music in the 90s and acoustic music sense. So normally I am used to spending hundreds of hours on a track, but with AI tools, I can create something in about 3 to 5 hours. It's never as artistic as human creation, but when you want to just be funny, or if you have a simple music type, hint, all pop music is simple, AI can create something decent. Excuse me. Here's how I do it if anyone else wants to try. 1, write the lyrics myself with a rhyming dictionary, and occasionally I ask ChatGPT to suggest a rhyme, but ChatGPT sucks so bad, compelling, use it sparingly. 2, I then tag the song with intro, chorus, verse, etc., and use AIM or AImusic.so to generate songs. Then I describe the song, such as for the HBTC song I wrote, quote, gangster rap, male voice, 90 beats per minute, whistle, minimal. You have limits on how many songs you can generate, even if you pay. But if you are patient, in about 20 to 30 generations, you will find something that is 80% what you want. And I picked that. 3, then I use a sound editor. I use Acid Pro because I am old and it was publishing music in the Stone Age. You could use anything, GarageBand, Camtasia, Audacity. All you really need is to be able to balance the bass, mids, and treble and rearrange the track. Inevitably, AI will create something really or some really random crap that you need to cut. It will overemphasize the treble, or it will double up a random verse or chorus, etc. 4, I then use Gemini to create a starting image and upload that to Neutral Frames and AI Animator. I suck at this, so no advice from me here other than if you write quote Celtics or quote Boston Celtics, it will generate images of the soccer team. You know what comes next with YouTube. I am preparing a KP track. I was hoping you would save that email until the time we know KP is playing and then drop it. Absolutely. God, I hope Pete is there. I am having fun with these songs, but I don't want to burn anyone out. Please stop me before it grows old. Best Phil, the HBTC Bard. Never stop. I enjoy them. Shall we listen to the Raining 3 soundtrack, Sam? I'm very excited. 3-minute soundtrack. Oh my God, this image is amazing. Ready? Look at this. Look at the starting image we got. Hold up. Where is it? Look at this starting image we got. Country song around the campfire. I'm locking
Celtics
in. I'm
versus Mavs finals 2024.
Here we go.
It's a Monday night in Charlotte, traveling with the boys and starters, betting big on a hand of them. PP's gets 30 today, I know. We're gonna dribble up and launch it early, make some last second step backs of glory. Joe's timeouts will have to wait. They boys are raining 3s today, dragging our feet, and that's okay. Got 82 games we gotta play. No screen or cut on the way. We're raining 3 all day. Media will give us a scoring. Undoubtedly they'll say it's boring, but getting blocking calls in Detroit, honestly I don't see the point. Raining 3s and hardly trying. Real ball fans are crying. Drives in the paint aren't on the way. We're gonna rain some 3s today. Dragging our feet and that's okay. Got 82 games we gotta play. No screen or cut on the way. We're raining 3 all day.
This is like a lost song to me.
Oh, what?
A great song to play like after a loss. Like 80.
Yeah.
Like, all right. Awesome.
Media will give us a scoring. Undoubtedly they'll say it's boring, but getting blocking calls in Detroit, honestly I don't see the point. Raining 3s and hardly trying. Real ball fans are crying. Drives in the paint aren't on the way. We're gonna rain some 3s today. Dragging our feet and that's okay. Got 82 games we gotta play. No screen or cut on the way. We're raining 3 all day. All day. The paint's wide open but we're by the line. The big men down low are wasting time. We are already a playoff lock. It only takes 1 3 to go and get us hot. We're 1 shot away from a line in the books. So fire it up, no matter how it looks. Skull knows this is a 2-for-1 play. We're raining 3s today. Dragging our feet and that's okay. Got 82 games we gotta play. No screen or cut on the way. We're raining 3 all day.
It's kind of funny the whole place is just catching on fire.
I know. That was incredible. That was so sick. That might be my favorite one yet.
Philip was telling us before we had heard this song that like it was just stuck in his head. And his wife agreed.
I get
all
it.
the kids had been listening to it too. Yeah, I could understand that.
Raining 3s and that's okay. We're no
I
blocking
genuinely would
calls
be
around
curious
the
to
way.
like hear the team's reaction to this. I know
Dude,
we don't really have like a platform to be like, what do you guys think?
Well,
But-
I was gonna say I was gonna ask Philip, and I'll just ask him here. Maybe I'll email him. Do you care if I put these on a thread on Twitter? Like, can I thread these and explain the context so people can enjoy these as well? Like, like obviously I'll just link to your video, but like, or maybe I'll include the videos on Twitter so people can just click and listen because they're more likely to do that.
Is you should take, like, especially with this one, take the chorus, put that,
Yeah.
and then link to the full video.
Yeah, something like that. Or I could just post the whole thing because like you can post multiple minute videos to Twitter now, so people can
That's
listen to
true.
it. People are more likely to listen on Twitter, but then I'll link to your YouTube. If you wouldn't mind me doing it, I'd love to because I think a lot of people on Twitter would appreciate this. And I know you're not on Twitter, Philip, but this is awesome. This was so fun, man. Thank you for making
there are
these
some
again.
Celtics that do lurk.
It's true. But thank you, Philip. And again, we said this on the other show. Sam and I got to surprise Philip for his birthday. His wife, Caro, reached out to us because last year we did the surprise, like happy birthday on the pod. This year she was like, I want to one up it. We met Philip right here. As you can see, we took a picture. We met him in real life. We got some dinner before the game, or some lunch, I suppose, before the game against the Cavs. And then I think his email here is reference to that. He said, thank you. He said, fellas, just got home and I'm still smiling. A loss to the Cavs wouldn't have even stopped me. I really can't thank you both enough. First, for being good people and making a great pod. Second, for buying my birthday lunch, of course. Third, for taking your time to make my day a memorable one. I know the experience will have me enjoying your podcast and articles even more, knowing the solid guys behind them. Until the next episode, that used to be cool to say, believe it or not. Phil, shout out
Very
Phil.
fun
Phil
time,
is
Phil.
like genuinely one of the like most interesting people I've ever met in my life. Like Phil does so
Versatile.
much stuff. So versatile. 5-tool player, Philip. Phil, he showed us he makes
A
knives,
unicorn.
he makes ukuleles, he makes he cooks,
Writes books.
award-winning soup. He wrote a 300,000 word book for his kids. Like Philip's
A
incredible.
man.
Shout out Philip, man. Just amazing dude. Him and his wife Kara are amazing people. Very, very cool. Shout out Philip. Happy birthday, Philip. RJ email says, Queta question answered. Evening, folks. Winning makes everything pretty, but Neemias Queta didn't need a glow up from Tuesday's game. The Cavs tried to roast him in the third quarter, but in a game where the Celtics difference maker was winning the 3-point battle, Nemi held serve. In his 16 minutes on the court, the Cavs were 2 of 6 from deep, which was slightly better than when he was off the floor, 8 of 23. Cavs also made 50% fewer threes per minute with Nemi on the floor than with him off. Excuse me. Did it look smooth and polished? Not at all. But the Celtics did not relinquish the margin that helped them win the game in front of them and guard their yard. And that's always a beautiful thing. Be well, RJ. I didn't think about it that way, which I guess it makes sense. It did bait them away from the 3-point line, but it was still rough.
The problem with baiting them away from the 3-point line is it's not really bait when they're getting free layups.
It's true. Maybe they just need to be raining threes, and that's okay.
That's okay.
Thank you, RJ. Next email, or last email from Paolo Benazzi. How's her hangover? ? Guys, we've been hearing all summer about the importance of avoiding the famous quote championship hangover. Seems quite clear to me that the team has been, with the exception of the damn game against Atlanta, very focused and aggressive from day one. 13-2 without Porzingis and with Horford still limited to only 27 minutes per game. Excellent, I'd say. Obviously, again, that's with the exception of Atlanta, and they're 12-3, I believe, not 13-2, but still. But I wonder, isn't there a player who is suffering a bit of a hangover? I mean, a literal hangover from the duck puke parade. Just kidding. Hauser 31% from 3. This will only make things better. Since I would bet my house that he will end up around 40. Ciao, Paolo. Yeah, I was going to say the same. I think it's just an early season slump. I'm not worried about Hauser. He has shown us too big of a sample size to be worried about this slump.
That's the thing, right? Like, it's like, hey, this guy, this is his thing. He's really good at this. I don't think that there are a lot of examples of guys that are sharpshooters in the NBA forgetting how to shoot. Can't see Hauser being the first. Like legitimately forgetting how to shoot in like the peak of their career. There would be no reason for him to fall off a cliff right now. Unless he's legitimately hurt all the time.
Yeah, and maybe it is the back issues because he's been dealing with that, but we shall see. Jumping over the NBA here, the Ringer just updated their top 100 players in the NBA list. We can take a look. I have not seen this yet, and we can see it's the NBA ranked. Let's take a look. Is Tatum not in this little picture? No, he's not. It's Jalen. Interesting. So number 1. This was updated today as we're recording this. Jokic number 1. I'm not going to complain. Luka number 2 is interesting considering how bad he's been. But again, I'm not going to complain. If the same top 6-ish that I have in my top 6 are in the top 6, I'm not going to be complaining. I would put Giannis above Luka, personally. And I'd also put Mr. Tatum, who's 4, above Luka as well. But again, I'm okay, if that makes sense. I mean, they were arguing Tatum versus Shea, which I don't necessarily get. Tatum is
forever though.
Shea is 5. Yeah, I don't really get it. Like, why? What makes Shea better than Tatum?
They love Shea. He's clutch.
Just
gets a bunch of steals.
I would argue he's a better shot creator overall, like in terms of picking his spots. But I think Tatum is a better overall 3-point shooter. I think Tatum is probably on par-ish or close to as a playmaker. Shea's probably a little bit of an edge, but Tatum is by far the better defender. I don't know. I won't complain. Steph is 6, which I think is fair. KD 7, AD 8, Embiid 9, Anthony Edwards 10. Sure. I don't really have any complaints in this top 10.
Yeah. It's tough because I feel like Durant at 7 is high, but I also don't have anybody that's like directly behind him that's like, that guy should be over Durant. I don't really have that
AD.
feeling.
I can maybe argue AD just from how well
he's been incredible this year.
But KD has also been good. Looking further down the list, LeBron 11, Jalen Brunson 12, Jaylen Brown 13, Booker 14, Donovan Mitchell 15, Wembanyama 16, John Morant 17, Tyrese Halliburton 18, Sabonis 19, Fox 20. How has Halliburton been that good this year? I feel like he's been really bad. Am I crazy?
Well, if we're talking about this year, Embiid has barely played, and he's number 9.
Sure. Halliburton's averaging 16, 4, and 8 on 38, 29 splits.
Yeah, he's been not good. Can't wait for them.
Meanwhile,
they played the Celtics.
Now, on the other hand, De'Aaron Fox is averaging 29, 5, and 5.5 on 51, 36 splits. And Sabonis is averaging 20, 12, and 6.5 on 64, 40 splits.
Small market bias.
I think the Kings get disrespected a little bit. But anyways, Paolo's 21. Obviously, he's been a little bit hurt. Bam, Kawhi, Maxey, Kyrie, Jimmy. I just want to see the rest of the Celtics.
LaMelo.
Here, LaMelo's there. He's good, but he's a bit weird. I want to see where the rest of the Celtics land. The next high Celtic is Derek White at 35, which I think is pretty fair for Mr.
Zion.
Derek. I'm curious. They have to have Pritchard in the top 100 now, right? That's my only thing that I'm questioning.
There's a lot of Celtics on this list.
Drew at 42. KP at 50, even though he's been hurt. And that is it. That is it. So no Pritchard, no Horford.
Horford's been really good this year.
Yeah, Horford and Pritchard not being in the top 100 players in the NBA seems a bit odd to me. Horford is averaging 10, 5, and 2 on 52, 47, and 0.7 splits. Pritchard is averaging, let me find it, 15, 2.5, and 2.8 on 47, 42 splits. So let me see, before I judge, let me see who else cracks top 100.
Cam Thomas.
Chris Paul, Nick Claxton. I guess it is a bit of a high bar. Like, you could argue a lot of these guys over either of those guys, so I'm not going to sit here and like super complain. I think it's just NBA is very talented, but it is interesting. Put it that way. Especially for Trey Murphy, who hasn't played in a game this season, even though I would still have him above. Okay. Let's talk 76ers, Sam. The Sixers in shambles, as I put it so promptly on the sheet. Shams Charania put out an article that revealed that they had a team meeting after a recent loss to the Heat. Kyle Lowry called for it, a heart-to-heart, and Maxey, in the meeting, challenged Embiid to be on time to team activities, calling out the former MVP for being, quote, late, or for being late to, quote, for everything, and how it impacts the locker room. Maxey and Embiid have a close friendship and a history of holding each other accountable, according to those around the team. A person involved in the meeting said, quote, Tyrese loves big fella, but this is an elephant in the room. Tyrese Maxey talked to Tony Jones of The Athletic shortly after and said, Maxey said, quote, I wanted to speak up. I felt the need to do that because I wanted to share that we are better than what we have shown on the floor. There was a lot said, but it is what it is. We said what we have to say, and we have to figure out a way to move on to the rest of the season. Everyone understands what's at stake. Everyone is feeling the hurt. So that is the context. It has not struggling this bad and he is still late to team activities, that is pretty unacceptable, especially after he went on a whole rant a couple weeks ago saying, I don't deserve to be talked about like this for everything I do for the city.
Well, he's still right. He's still right. He didn't deserve what he was referencing.
Well, he doesn't deserve to be talked about in the context that, what is it, Marcus Hayes talked about it? Yes.
Yeah.
Like, in
Which is
terms
what
of
he
the
was talking
overall,
about.
sure. But in terms of the overall criticism, you got to be a better leader than this, bro. You got to step up. Like, look at Kristaps Porzingis. He's everything. He's been hurt all year, and he's not the best player on the team. Embiid's the best player on the team, and this is the example you're setting. Not good.
I do think Embiid's attitude kind of sucks, just in general. I think that's been evident over the last couple seasons. There's a reason why there's a general feeling about him that is negative. A lot of the stuff rubs people the wrong way. This is something that we didn't really know about before, but I mean, the people around the team did know. I know Pat Bev was on Part of My Take today, and I think he talked about a moment where Embiid was late for practice and then scored 50 in the same day. So it was like nobody can really tell him anything if he's going to score 50 in the same day. But the elephant in the room grows bigger when Embiid's just kind of not playing. Because what was it? Monday he was not going to play because he was
He's
sick.
doubtful,
Then
then he started.
He was like, I will play. And then he sucked. And then they lost. Yeah, it's going to rub people the wrong way. Philly is now 2-11. Like,
are you now
ahead.
more worried about Philly than Milwaukee?
In terms of what? Like
I remember a couple weeks ago we talked and you were like, I have more confidence in Philly turning it around than Milwaukee. Since then, Milwaukee is 5-9 now, which is significantly better than they were before, and Philly's still 2-11.
I mean, Milwaukee almost lost to Houston the other day. They almost lost.
They should have. Did you see the last play in that game?
Yeah, Giannis stepped out of bounds.
No.
Well, he did.
Sure, but Sengun missed the pass.
Oh no!
I'll pull it up while you talk.
Pull it up. I think there was another close game recently that they won. Oh, the Pistons game. They should have lost that game, but Holland missed both the free throws.
Sure.
Yes, they're 5-9. Yes, you have to win. A win is a win is a win, but they're still not winning the way you would expect the Bucks to win. I think the Pistons are a better team than they were last year, but they still needed a lot of luck to go. Granted, the call wasn't very good.
Yes, this was.
All right, let's see this play. Oh no! Yeah, they should have lost. That was a bad pass from Fred too. I think
it was. Look at this horrible defense by the Bucks, though. So it's what for audio listeners. Rockets down by 1 point with 2 seconds left. Fred VanVleet is inbounding the ball. Ime Udoka draws up to play where Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks run past each other. Jalen Green sets a fake screen. Gary Trent and AJ Green are both looking at Jalen Green, but then they both realize, oh, wait, we got to go to the corner. They both run to the corner, which means Jalen Green is open at the top of the key.
Oh, my gosh.
Giannis chases Jalen Green, leaving nobody guarding Alperen Şengün in the paint. But when Fred VanVleet threw the ball, Giannis was still there, so he throws it a little bit extra high to get it over Giannis, but by the time the pass gets there, Giannis is gone. But Şengün can't reach.
Drive.
Yep, Şengün can't reach the pass, and so they just can't get a shot up. Even though Şengün was butt naked, wide open under the rim. But good play design, horrible defense by the Bucks, but they scrape by, man.
The point still stands with Milwaukee, where they are winning games. You have to be able to finish games. In fairness to them, they were in 2 games against Cleveland and they didn't get across the finish line. Now they're getting across the finish line. They do deserve a little bit of credit.
Yes.
At the same time, they still don't look like the Milwaukee Bucks that we saw the last 3 seasons. Or, I mean, however many, take your pick, however many seasons. They've been really good for a while. Philly, Embiid is still clearly hurt. So I think that plays a little bit of a factor in this. Giannis is the best player on the Bucks. He is not hurt right now. At the same time, Philly's a mess.
Both teams are in bad spots, which is interesting considering where we thought they would be coming to the season. So we'll see how it all plays out. Last thing before the route list, the Lakers are throwing some propaganda out into the world about Mr. D'Angelo Russell. I don't know if you saw this. So a report, or something came out from Anthony Irwin, who now writes for Clutch Points. I think he was Lakers Nation for a while. But he reported D'Angelo Russell's increased production off the bench has shifted the Lakers away from a trade for Russell and towards one involving Gabe Vincent. Quote, in talking to sources close to the Lakers, Russell playing well in this role might make them a little more reluctant to part with him as the bench unit seriously struggled with Gabe Vincent at the helm. If this is actually who Russell can be for the rest of the season, the Lakers might even get more picky about who they trade him for, or would look to find a more reliable option than Vincent as a part of a Russell trade. And I saw somebody on Twitter quote tweet this. I forget who it was, so apologies. I'm not trying to steal it. I just can't remember. They quote tweeted this and said, parent talking to their child, these vegetables are so good. You definitely shouldn't I want to keep them all for myself. You definitely don't want any of these. So
I mean, I'm sure the Lakers would love to trade Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, they definitely
top
want to
of
keep
that-
D'Angelo Russell. They really want D'Angelo Russell. You guys wouldn't want him. He's bad. What would you give us for him though? Haha, just asking. Just curious. What do you think?
We only signed him to a contract that is specifically structured so it can be traded. But we're not going to trade him.
The Lakers they're special, man. Special stuff coming.
We
out of
actually
LA.
didn't go through the standings, so let's do that quick.
Sure.
What is everyone's record? I don't have it in front of me. Pull it up.
I'll mark it in the timesheet. We can do a quick check-in before we jump to the rat list here. Here are the standings for the season right now. Obviously, Cavs 15-1, top of the Eastern Conference. 12-3 Celtics right behind them. Magic and Knicks both above 500 now. 9-6, 8-6. Hawks actually having a pretty good season relative to expectations. 7-8 on the year.
Yeah,
I mean, relative to expectations, that's significantly better than a lot of people thought they would be. Miami Heat 6-7, Pistons 7-9, Pacers 6-8, Nets 6-9, Bulls 6-9, Hornets 5-9, Bucks 5-9, Raptors 3-12, Washington Wizards and Sixers both 12-11. And if I'm the Wizards, I'm pissed. I'm trying my best to tank. I'm losing by an average of 14.8 points a game, and you're still not solely at the bottom of the East.
Speaking of the
I'm
Wizards,
angry.
Friday's big day for that minus 14.8 number. Celtics, the cup
In season
at Washington.
NBA Cup.
Celtics have a point differential of +2 after 2 games. Friday's massive day for them to pad that stat. It could be, if they want it, if they really care, it could be this year's equivalent of the Bulls game from last year, where the Celtics are just relentlessly trying to win by a billion. Big spot for the Celtics. Other stuff sticking out, Pacers still struggling. Is not weird, but weird. It is just so strange seeing Milwaukee and Philly in that bottom third of the standings. It's just
it's awkward.
Milwaukee does feel like they're on their way out with a last 10 of 4 and 6. Woohoo! 1-9 for the Sixers in their last 10 is brutal.
Not good. Really, really bad. Out west, Warriors 10-3, Thunder and Thunder 11-4. Excuse me. Lakers 10-4, Rockets 10-5, Nuggets 8-5. Nuggets 9-6, Timberwolves 8-6, Clippers 8-7, Grizzlies 8-7, Kings 8-7, Mavericks 1-3 in a row. They're 8-7, Spurs 7-8, Blazers 6-8, Pelicans 4-11, Jazz 3-11. The 11th seed in the Western Conference would be the 5 seed in the Eastern Conference. For context,
I'm an idiot, and I thought you were talking about the Jazz, and I was like, wait, what?
No. The Mavs, who are in 11th, would be 5th place in the East, which is insane to think about.
It's a real shame.
West is really good, man. Just a really, really talented bunch of teams in the Western Conference. The Rockets look good. The Lakers look good. Everyone is playing to their strengths. It feels like a lot better this year around the league.
Seeing all those last 10s of the Eastern Conference, pretty funny. 3-7, 3-7, 4-6, 2-8, 1-9, 1-9 West. We'll even start at the midway point. 6-4, 6-4, 6-4, 5-5. Nobody is even close to what the fucking mediocrity is in the East. It's just
in the Eastern Conference. 1, 2. Let me see. 1 sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams have a below 500 record in their last 10. In the West, 2 teams have a below 500 record in their last 10. So there's some.
It hurts, dude. I hate seeing this. I really do.
Did you see the Dyson Daniels celebration?
No, I didn't.
So I wanted to show you this. I want to find it. Because ESPN Australia, New Zealand, like their ESPN's account for them tweeted out. So this is how the Hawks Kings game ended. It was a game-winning steal from Dyson Daniels. And do you know their nickname for him? Come on,
I
which
see it on the screen.
Larry Nance
Right.
came up with it. The Great Barrier Thief is the nickname. And so this is how the game ended. Excuse me. Darren Fox dribbles the ball at court. DeAndre Hunter on him. Dribble, goes up to try to shoot. Dyson Daniels steals it,
Wow.
gets the pass in bounds. Hawks win the game. They come up to him. Obviously, everyone's pumped. Surrounds Dyson Daniels. Surrounds him, hugs him. Everyone's saying, "What's up?" Garrison Matthews comes up, hugs him. And then Clint Capella comes out of nowhere. And they walk him off the court because he's that good. They handcuff him and walk him off the court. The Great Barrier Thief. He's going to jail because he's a thief. And then Trey's walking off. He yells. He goes, "Great Barrier
It's pretty cool.
Just a very funny reaction to Dyson Daniels being a monster. And bro, he's a monster. He's insane. Do you know how many steals he's averaging through 15 games?
What is it, like 3.5?
13 games. He's averaging 3.4 steals a game.
Yeah. Quite a number.
He's insane, dude. He's averaging 15, 5, and 3, and 3.4 steals and 1.1 blocks. it's insane. So good for Dyson Daniels, man. All right. Rat list, or do you got something else?
Rat list.
Hit me. What do you have?
So Rat list is a Trailblazers. I'm watching this compilation of Rob Williams coming back from injury. The Blazers dropped confetti for an NBA Cup win in the group stage.
For him doing what? For a cup win?
For Rob coming back from injury. But like part of the montage is like they won their cup game against the Timberwolves, and Rob was awesome in that game. And they dropped confetti. Group stage of the cup.
Huh. Yeah.
Not good. Not good for the Blazers. I know they've been a little bit like of a fun team as of late, but that doesn't bode well. That's loser stink all over them.
They wanted a chance to use it, man. That's bad though. That's really not good.
Rob's the man.
Shout out Rob. I'm trying to think. What do I got? I don't do much, man. I've all my past 5 days has been Maine Celtics, Maine Celtics, practice Celtics game. I just have gone through the same thing. Today was the first day that I woke up and didn't have somewhere I needed to be. And even tonight, I have my first practice for the league that I'm coaching, which I'm very excited for. But I've just been nonstop doing stuff. Even this Friday, it's my roommate Brian's birthday, and everyone's gonna hang out, drink a little bit, and I've got to watch the Wizards. So maybe you'll be a little intoxicated for that game.
That's what you're doing.
But I'll be watching it. Perhaps I get a little drink in there as well, and you get a fun version of Jack for post game. But we'll see. We'll see how I fare. But yeah, man, it's been pretty boring. I haven't really done too much. I'm trying to think if anything in particular has been funny. I have a funny story. It's not necessarily a rat list
for you. You tell your story. I'll put it in the chat so you can do it. So you can say.
So we went to family dinner that we do monthly, and it was a French place. But we get there and they have baguette on the menu, right? And it's $5 for the baguette appetizer, and we're sitting there. We're like,
but not for first. I have to interrupt. Crazy to charge for bread.
Sure. Yes, it was a fancy restaurant, right? We asked the waitress. We're like, how much baguette do we get with the baguette? We're like, what do we get served?
Like you're doing the woodchuck tongue twister.
Yeah. We're like, so we were split up into two tables because there were 11 of us. And so we asked, there's 5 of us at our table. And we're like, how many orders should we get if we all want a little baguette? And she was like, respect to the waitress. She was like, get 3. That'll feed y'all. And we're like, fuck yeah, we'll do that. We'll get 3 orders of the baguette for 5 of us. And the way it worked was each order came with 2, have you ever been to Panera? Do you know the baguettes you get as like a side app?
I'm trying. Are they big? Are they thick? Or are
Yeah,
they
they were good.
tiny?
They were a good size is the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to like think
Okay.
of something I have here. So like this coffee
sure
bottle I have, if you're watching on YouTube, it's like relatively this size minus this top. So like this size roughly. And it's like
And
good
that's
size.
one of
like,
your $5 orders, or it's two of those
and
things for
pieces.
$5.
You get 2 of those for $5.
Okay.
So
All right.
it's charging for bread is a little bit like That said, really good bread. Really good bread. So there was that, and then I mean it was a fun dinner. It was just the baguette controversy was how it spearheaded everything. But what did you put in here? Oh yeah.
Hold on.
Oh,
I want to stay on
yes.
bread for a minute because you made me think of
Please.
one of my favorite things I've ever seen on Twitter was I think last year when Barstool was still in New York, Big Cat was going to this super fancy restaurant and he was trying to eat like the most pieces of bread that he could possibly eat. And he was just like live tweeting and he was like, there's starting to become like a low rumble in this restaurant as people are starting to catch on that I'm going for the bread record. And they made like a graphic for like X amount of pieces of bread eaten for Big Cat. Just an all time like watching.
How many did you get through?
I think it was like 20 something.
That's pretty good.
It's
pretty good
insane.
number.
Just in
That's
there
a pretty
ripping
good
bread.
piece of bread. Man, good bread is top 5 food. Good bread. I love bread.
The Olive Garden breadsticks.
But I will also rat list. I'm gonna more rat list Luke Cornett and Drew Holiday for not knowing who Noah Khan is. So the Celtics did this video on the Jumbotron that was guess who this artist is, and they showed a bunch of famous
Musical artists, yes.
musical artists. Yes, sorry. And they did a bunch of different ones. They showed like Sabrina Carpenter. They showed Chappell Roan. They showed Prince. I would be curious to see you play the game because I don't think you do very good at it either. But Luke
I don't
Cornett
think
and
I
Drew
would have
Holiday.
done well.
No, Luke Cornett and Drew Holiday played the game, and Noah Khan was put up there, and neither of them knew who it was. And now I don't know if you saw Cam's video as well, Sam, but I was watching as this was happening, and as it was happening, I was live reacting to Luke Cornett not knowing who Noah Khan was. And so they put it up there, and Cam was, unbeknownst to me, taking a video of me. And I watched him react and not know who Noah Khan was, and I just shake my head because it was sad. And Noah tweeted the video.
You were basketball heroes.
I know. And Noah tweeted the video of like them doing the game, and Noah Khan retweeted Noah's video and said, "I wouldn't. To be fair, I wouldn't know me either." Right here, and I'm very jealous. I love Noah Khan. Anyone who knows me knows I'd love Noah Khan. To her credit, Noah is also a big Noah Khan fan. So like I went over and talked to her. She was like, "This is the most starstruck I've ever been on Twitter." And she's big on Twitter. But I'm very jealous. I love Noah Khan. Still the best, one of the best nights of my life. Incredible concert, incredible performance. Yeah, Luke, I can't believe Luke Cornett and Drew Holiday don't know him. It makes me sad.
Drew Holiday, by the way, did not know who Paul McCartney was.
Tough look.
That's
not
tough
good.
look.
No,
not
I will
good.
say I would struggle with a few of the older artists as well, but I could have told you who Paul McCartney.
The older ones, we didn't even talk about the best moment of the thing. When Luke Cornett's going, they put Bad Bunny up there, and he's like,
Elephant
I know it has like something to do with the animal. And it's like a 3-second pause. He's like, is it Elephant Jeff?
It's tough. Also, so this is the video. Who is this? I don't know who this is.
I don't know.
This is like one of the first ones they did.
That's not Shawn Mendes, is it?
No, it's not Shawn Mendes. I don't know who this is.
Do they say the answer on the big screen?
No, they didn't put it up. And I wanted to know who it was. They just said
is.
it's the X'd him out for Calvin Harris. I don't know who that is.
Cool as DJ. Whitney Houston.
Oh, Whitney Houston up there.
Sabrina Carpenter. I knew that one.
They put Sabrina Carpenter up there. We're just watching, for audio listeners, we're watching Luke play the game. But I'm not going to play the audio, so it's not like a pain in the ass to listen to. I don't know who this is. Do you know who this is? It's an older artist. I didn't know who this was, but Drew Holiday said it was Missy Elliott, Prince, Luke Combs. I'm surprised.
I thought that was Fat Joe when they first put him up there. I'm not going to lie to you.
Jesus Christ. They put Chaperone up there. I assume you wouldn't know who Chaperone
Would
was.
not have known who that was.
Jimi Hendrix. They put up there. Bad Bunny. This is where, here, I'll play the audio for this part. He guessed Elephant Chef, which is not Bad Bunny. And KP loves Bad Bunny too. So like, I bet KP was mad about this one. Celine Dion, they put up there. I don't know if I would have gotten that without knowing.
I don't think I would have got her. Paul
Paul McCartney's up there. Who
did Luke not get Paul McCartney either?
He did. It took him a second, but Drew didn't get it. They put Jaylen Brown up there as an artist, which was funny. And then Noah Khan came up.
I would not have known that's Noah Khan, for what it's worth.
It's fucked up.
I probably would have guessed Jesus.
Same thing.
Yeah.
In your defense. But yeah, they didn't know Noah Khan.
They should have put the Boom guys up there. 2 hits.
Did you see that on Twitter? I retweeted it.
What?
So, oh my God. Okay. Perfect.
Is it the Christmas song?
No. So somebody said no dunks. You know, no dunks on Twitter. They put it out. They said people clowning the Celtics green NBA Cup court don't see the vision. And they use the green NBA Cup court as a green screen. And they posted this.
You know me as the Rizzler. Your brother wrist face. There's no chance he's coming back. I hang with AJ and Big Justin. Bring up
hell yes.
We're like the 3 evolutions of
Pokemon.
You know me as the Rizzler.
So they use the court as a green screen.
Excellent.
I retweeted it. And you can find it. But yeah. Shout out to No Dunks. Very fun.
Rat List, MassDOT, Mass Department of Transportation. Yesterday, I'm leaving the Garden. 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking to my car through the North End. No ticket, by the way, Jack. Don't worry.
Huge.
No ticket. But I'm like kind of out of it. Like I'm tired. I've been up since like 7:30. Long day. Like going to the game is fun, but we do a lot of work. Like it's like your brain's a little bit mush by the time you leave.
Sure.
And I'm just kind of walking. I'm like, wait a minute. It's 11:30. Why the fuck is there so much traffic? You would have thought it was like 5:30. The way like bumper to bumper, all brake lights, like lit up red outside. You know how like over by where like the North End is, there's that ramp to get on 93? Like
yes.
It goes into a tunnel.
It goes down. Yes.
Closed.
Yeah.
They closed.
do road work. They're doing it in the playoffs last year too. It killed me every time.
So I will say good on them for doing it while the sun is not out.
Yep. Not good.
The problem is they also had ramps closed in Somerville. Yep. So I went up to Somerville and I couldn't get on. So I had to take Storrow Drive and then go through the city. And it was certainly not as long as waiting through whatever that traffic was. Like I definitely made the right decision, but my dumbass Apple Maps was like, go this way. And it like brought me to like a barricade. And I was like, well, dumbass, I can't fucking go this way. Like I can't, it's not going to let me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It should be like, I don't understand what they were doing where the people that were already on 93 could stay on 93. Because when I went to like the ramp in Somerville, there were plenty of people just cruising along because I could see on the highway.
Yeah.
Why can't I get on? Let me on. Let me get on. I want to go home.
Yep. No. Get fucked. That's all I got. I don't got anything else. You got anything else?
No.
Okay. In that case, we can end there. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics here on Apple, on Spotify, all that good stuff. And I'll let Sam take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you thought of today's pod. I couldn't even say Celtics Cavs because it already happened. What do you think of the Rizzler? Let us know. You can also hit the notification bell. Jack and I are here every single day. New content, new pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game. And other videos are up in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. So if you hit the bell, you don't miss any of that. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. All of our pods and game recaps are there. If you give us a follow, those will go right into your feed. If you only want the audio, it's perfect for you. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. The email has been cooking lately. Shout out to you guys for putting in some really cool stuff. We love to hear from you guys. It's a big part of the show. Again, hbtcpod@gmail.com. The socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's just the name of the podcast. All streams are on, I think, all of them now. I think we are on the TikTok as well. So, again, follow there. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's Money NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us.